I want you to know, all of you, I want you to know that there exists a world right here in this social, physical world. I want you to know that another world exists. Now, you don't recognize this other world that I'm talking about. You don't recognize it, you can't see it, you can't have its health and its enjoyment because you've settled for this world of human beings, of thoughts, of conflict, of competition, of division. This is what you have settled for. But the fact is that this world, this higher world, this new world, which you don't know about, has an existence which you can recognize, which you can see, which you can be a part of upon certain conditions. One of those conditions is that you cease to imagine that you already have it. You see, all your life you have lived on a certain level. You have accepted certain things as being necessary, such as conflict. You have taken it as necessary that you must fight within yourself and with other people. You have taken this whole dreadful world that you now experience as the only one that exists. Another world exists which can be recognized, and that recognition is your living of it, your health in it. Now you're asking, are you not? How? Think of the phrase, a wave of pain. You've had them, huh? How many today? 500? See, they're uncountable because you're not aware of what's going on inside of you down at the office, at the home, driving your car. But during this one day alone, you've had these hundreds of, and I want to deliberately retain that phrase, a wave of pain. You know, think of an ocean wave. It swells up, reaches its peak, smashes against the shore, and then disappears, doesn't it? Can you begin right now to recognize a wave of pain, even just one of them within the next hour, within the next few minutes even? Can you recognize, see, inside yourself, some nervousness, some distress, some heavy feeling that comes over you? You know you have, look, you have these waves of pain in floods, really, all day long. I'm asking you to do something different right now. I'm asking you to recognize one, just one. If you recognize one, that will make it easier for you to see the next one. You're home, you're washing the dishes or cooking dinner, and all of a sudden a great dreadful feeling comes over you. You remembered something from the past, or you think something that you have to face next week. And while cooking that dinner, peeling those carrots or whatever, right in the middle of that feeling, that wave of anguish comes over you and gives you a heavy spirit and a very sober, sad face, and you're all alone in the house, let's say, and no one knows that that feeling overcame you, that wave went through you. Not even you know that it's happened. There is no way I can overestimate, overjudge the importance of you knowing what is going on inside of you every second. While you were seated here waiting for the talk, where were you? In Japan, in Australia, somewhere? At home? Where were you while your physical body was here? You should have known that you were seated here. You could have been aware of the person next to you, and maybe you felt a little discomfort because of the closeness of the other person. See, moment by moment awareness of a wave of pain is the first step, the first type of recognition that is essential if you're ever going to change anything. You cannot change anything until you first see it. Now, before we go on, let me make another point clear to you. Just because you feel that pain over that person making that sharp remark, that curt remark, just because you feel the pain, that is not the same thing as recognizing it, as knowing that it went through you. It takes a long time for some people to get this. You shorten the time, where you understand that feeling the pain is not the same as being aware of it. And when you, for the first time, become conscious while you're fixing that dinner at home, become conscious of that heavy spirit coming over you, you know, the dread, you've felt it 10,000 times in your life. When that feeling of dread comes over you, because you're alert and awake and the sentry is watching your inner condition, at that very moment, you say, I know what he was talking about at last. For the first time, here you are, 30, 40, 60, 80 years old. For the first time, you know what it means to recognize a wave of pain when it comes over you. And all these years, you thought you understood yourself. You argued with people. Oh, I know what I'm all about. Now you see what honesty and what self-work does for you. It puts you in a place where the next thing can happen, which is this. If you can recognize an anguish, a stab of some kind, an emotional distress, if you can see that clearly, not be it entirely, but stand apart and look at it and see it happening to you, by a certain marvelous, never-failing spiritual inner law, natural law, by a certain law, that wave of pain, your recognition of that pain, if you really see it, it must and always be followed by a wave of healing. If you will be true to the rules for waking up, for not being a zombie walking through life, if you will obey the rules, if you will do what you're supposed to do, truth is then able to do for you in the second place what you're not able to do for yourself, which is to send the healing wave. And here is why. You see, all your life up until now, you have only been one single, I'm going to say the word, and watch how you react to this. You've only been one single lost human being. You know you're lost. You haven't found yourself. You get mad all the time. What do you call that, being found, when you have no control at all? You have no control of your life. You have no control of your thoughts. It's a madhouse up there, isn't it? Set you off. Anyone can set you off. With this technique, this right spiritual method of first recognizing a wave of pain, automatically, by itself, a wave of healing will come, because there is something new there that you have invited by getting yourself out of the way for the moment. You see, you're home cooking the dinner. A depressing thought comes to you, a problem, some disgrace of 6 months ago. And it takes you over so completely that is all there is. Now you tell me, when this distress and anguish, when this is all there is, how can there be anything else? As simple as that. That's all there is you suffering in pain. Therefore, nothing good can happen, only the anguish of the pain is there. You introduce your alertness, your recognition of seeing it and say, ah, you know, that's right. How clear it is, just like turning on a light, how clear it is, what a difference it is for me to know that this wave of depression came over me. And the minute you see it, listen to this, you want magic, you want a real miracle, the minute you recognize the gloom and the depression, it disappears. It has no choice. The light of your recognition of something that is not your old nature, that is the invitation. That is something else. And the old nature can't coexist with the new nature, even as small as it is. The fact that you were able to stand apart from yourself and look back and see yourself slipping into the gloom. Want to prove it? Do it. You will fail the first 1,000 times. Isn't that good news? You see, here's why it's good news, because you have so much false confidence. See, you don't know what this is all about. You don't know what I'm talking about. You really don't. But if you're listening, if you want to know, even that is a little bit of light, isn't it? You will fail simply because, well, look, simply because you're not used to doing spiritual work. You're not used to being on your own side truly. You've been on the side of sleep, psychological sleep, spiritual sleep. You've been on the side of what has been making you so deeply depressed, so defeated, and so timid, and so shy, and so afraid that just one glance from another person is going to hurt you, and it does, doesn't it? When you know that your whole life has been dominated by waves of anxiety, waves of hostility, when you see that clearly, that is what gives you the urge to get out of that jungle and start walking toward the beautiful meadow. Therefore, point one, you must recognize the waves of negativity, if you want to call it that, the waves of self-harming thoughts and emotions. The very recognition of them will invite the healing of it, and that, just as you experience the pain, I will guarantee you that you will experience the healing. And you know what will happen to you? Let's see how you react to this. You know what will happen to you? You will start for the first time in your life to be a nice man, a nice woman. You're not nice now. I start off by telling you that an entirely new world exists. This new world is independent and inside yourself. It is independent of that human zoo outside where everyone claws and roars at each other and attacks each other. And I want you to know that it is possible for you, through the application of these methods that we're talking about, for you to be a sane, decent, clear, happy, free human being right in the middle of the madness that you see surrounding you, so that there's no way it can ever tempt you again to go along with it, so that all you want is freedom and rightness and decency, which is the truly spiritual life.